Hey, I thought I'd go over some of the balance changes. I'm going to test these out while I'm talking, basically. The server was down for 17 hours. I woke up and I messed around with my skill tree from the changes. And then I tried to go into a map and then they went into emergency maintenance again. So barely anybody's had any time with these changes. A lot of people have done number crunching and stuff, but I haven't seen too much about like the actual changes visually. So what they did with the fighter tree is they lowered the amount of SP it takes to max out a stance. They also increased the power when you're attacking from the wrong side. So I think that's going to be really useful. You get like an extra 10 points from that. And I'm only level 75, so I have another 5 points to work with. So what I did is I put some points in step advance, since I think they made the step faster overall. I don't know if it's worth putting more than 3 points into it, but 3 points was pretty standard for some builds in the past. You kind of get a drop off past that point, so I'm not sure. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to max out Deadline Slayer, since you have the extra points. They haven't really changed too much else. They also did give out a skill tree reset pass, so there is going to be another revamp later on. I'm not sure when that's going to be. They said that they're going to gather feedback and make changes accordingly from there, which is pretty common. DFO, if you've ever played that game does the same thing. When they add a new class, they only come out with the first awakening, and then the second awakening is a couple weeks later after they get feedback from people talk about the class's weaknesses, what needs to be changed, and then they incorporate that into the second awakening. So it's probably what's going to happen here. It's painfully obvious this is an emergency fix. They're trying to, repair the game, because the class diversity in this has been a joke ever since the hero came out. So there will be another balance pass later on. I think they said before the end of the year, so probably like in October or November. So they also lowered the Fury Critical. This got lowered as well. So you have some more skill points to work with here. What I did is I put a point in Never Give Up. And then I'll probably put the rest into Fury Combo Boost. So I need to do my Yamigarasu daily, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and that should be a good indication of the changes. Let me turn the music back on. So the dash distance was increased, or your step distance was increased. Apparently, you always get a step attack now or something. Heartless Impact also goes a lot farther as well. Rest of the stuff is mostly they reduced the hit stop. I think they increased the PP generation on some moves, and everything got a power increase as well. I'm gonna go ahead and reset this. I don't know why it gave me such a weird map. It's not opening. Yeah, it only does that when you're recording. Just go right back in. So basically, like, all of the dash PAs got buffed. They go farther. I think some of the tracking distance was changed as well, like Symphonic Drive there and Raging Waltz.
Emergency! Code! Collect! Completed!
Well, it's giving me like all the most annoying stuff. It only does this when you record. Or when you're in a hurry, when you're like trying to do something before an emergency quest, it will give you like the most annoying map possible. I'm definitely noticing the lack of hit stop though. Just in general.
Completed!
So I'm not going to go over the other classes because I don't have as much time and experience in them, but I thought I would show some of the fighter changes on the field while I experienced them for the first time. Obviously an act of desperation because hardcore players are pretty frustrated with the state of the game right now, but from what I've seen, it seems like it's a positive change.
My biggest problem with this episode is not the hero class and what it's done to the, the party composition and stuff. It's the fact that they are going all in on these buster quests, and people don't particularly like them. I mean, some people like them, but they shouldn't be a replacement for free fields, in my opinion. I think it's cool that they have something more consistent and worthwhile to do when there's not an emergency quest. I like that aspect of it, but I don't like how you're forced to play with other people and it's team-based and it's stressful, just like tower defense was. I think tower defense was like one of the worst aspects of this game for a while anyways. People would rage quit, not do anything, and it would waste a half hour of your time. That's like the reason why I don't play stuff like League of Legends, and that game definitely, in my opinion, kind of dangerously teetered this game towards that. And now with the power creep, that aspect of the game is pretty much useless now, aside from X cubes. Or getting X cube fodder. Some people liked how stressful they were. I obviously don't speak for everybody. But there were a lot of people that were frustrated with it too. You would get people that would rage quit like really far in, and you wouldn't notice until it was too late and there were not enough people to actually clear with anymore. That was a pretty big problem. Alright, I'm just gonna skip the rest of this stuff, just get to the end here. Since it's not being kind with the map generation.
Completed.
Alright, so a little overpowered for this boss, but that's basically the gist of the changes. They increased the dash distance on a lot of things. A lot of the travel PAs got increased distance. A lot of hit stop has been removed, so the gameplay is just faster in general. And of course they added some power increases. So there is going to be another balance pass in the near future. They said they're going to gather feedback from this. I'll definitely keep you guys posted on that as well. It's unsure if this is actually going to make any difference in terms of the balance and the party diversity and stuff, but it's a step in the right direction. They've pretty much been really having a passive stance towards the balance for a couple months now, which has left people pretty frustrated. I hope that they'll be able to turn this episode around. It definitely didn't come out with the best debut. I hope that things will get better in the near future. I would like to play this game more again, but the pretty heavy focus on the Buster Quest has kind of left me uninterested. I hope that they will, maybe they'll push out another advanced class, and that'll help kind of increase the party diversity as well. Anyway, you want to see what I'm going to do for my build here? I'm going to max out Deadline Slayer with the extra SP that I have. Step Advance, I think 3 points is probably enough. I might just put the rest in Half-Line Slayer. There's not really a whole lot else to put it into. I could go for attack, but you mostly want that limit break buff. So we'll see what happens. Catch you guys later. Peace.